Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm here to do part 4 of the beautiful book by Frederick Dodson called Parallel Universes of Self. And thank you for all your contributions in comments, because it's always nice to know that this is information that you're enjoying hearing about and hoping to help you as well as everyone else. So if you have not watched the first 3 previous Parallel Lives discussions, you might want to make certain that you do, or you may be a bit confused as to starting at this juncture. And all of these are pre-recorded for you. Okay, so we talked a lot about appreciation and gratitude and belief in things that we desire and want to manifest. And today I want to talk a little bit about the tools of consciousness that we all have available to us. And this is founded in the book as well. He says we all have the ability to focus, steer, shift, switch, and remove our attention from anything in our life. So if we are steering ourselves down the wrong path, we can switch it at any time we make that conscious decision. We can also focus on something that we want to manifest and make certain that it's focused in on the positive, not the negative aspect of it. Because this focus determines what you perceive is real and what you perceive isn't real in your life and how that comes to fruition. Reality creation is where you put your attention. There is no final, static end to anything. Our soul journey is infinite, and resistance always seems to come before desire. So you may be thinking, oh, Aley, you probably have been doing this so long, you knew exactly what you want all the time. No, I don't. The truth is I don't. In fact, I even remember somebody asking me what I wanted in a partner, and I still don't know in some regard, because I change and I don't want to be nailed into that one thought that I had many, many years ago. But at the same time, it does integrate itself in, because there become values and beliefs that I take into consideration. And I want those things to continue for myself in my own life and with my partnerships that I have with others. Beliefs and realities, you can choose from which viewpoint to approach your reality creation. You can choose to identity, attention, emotion, or belief, because all of those things do create your reality, or they combine to create that reality. Beliefs are superior to emotions, believe it or not. It's quite an interesting concept when we think about it, because so many of us believe that we're so ingrained in our beliefs that they have to be, what's the word I want to say? Um, Malleable, changeable. But our emotions really come after that belief system, because that's what we work with in order to create the desired manifestation in reality. A belief is nothing more than a thought, and we can change our beliefs at any time we want. We can change them, we can adjust them. We get new information in. I remember saying that with all the studying that I've done in my life, there is no one concrete way that I go about bringing my beliefs into the world except by virtue of combining them. I am no longer a straight Christian, straight Buddhist, straight Hindu, and I mean with regard to all the dogmas and so on. I just always have felt like a spiritual mutt, that things can, Heinz 57 sort of person, where I take from this, I like this, and I bring all those strings together into this, what works for me, beautiful reality that I live in. Behavior and actions are driven by our emotions and our beliefs, and they form a triad. You must believe things to see them, not see them to believe them. The old I'll believe it when I see it is not going to work, because what you have to do is believe first, then you see. this is how it works. You have to have faith in the belief and in knowing that it will show up at the right moment for you. This brings in the experience that you are wanting to create. Because you believe it, you are already experiencing it in some form. It's that thought form. And thought forms are very, very powerful. Over the weekend when we were doing the psychathon, which was over Labor Day weekend, if you're watching this much later, and we were trying to bring in Voices for Democracy, Psychics for Democracy in order to raise funds for a Democratic president. We all brought to the table a lot of our beliefs, but at the same time, we brought in limitations. We brought in the lack that is what needs to be taken care of in the world, in our world, and focusing on all negative or that person who's running on the other side of the ticket and what a horrible person that person is, and on and on and on, is only bringing in more of that horrible person into our perception. We can acknowledge and we can move on. We don't have to talk about it. We can talk about better things. And that's just in one area of our lives. You know, we lose a job, we have to have some sort of a catharsis about the loss. And then we have to say, wait a minute, what doors does this open for me? How can I look at this from a more positive way? What an opportunity I now have to create what I really want in my life. You are already experiencing the things that you want. And if it is something, quote, bad, we judge it. But someone else may feel very, very differently about it. And we have to stop judging it as bad and start judging it or making the determination that it's an opportunity for us. Chaos is actually the word. Chaos equals opportunity. It's an opportunity to begin again. And it's never too late to begin again. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how downtrodden you are. You can change your thoughts. Thoughts are things, and they do create what we want in our world. Since everything is energy, everything is also neutral. It's not good or bad. The labels we assign to events determine how they turn out for us. If we assign a label, we want to be right. So we assign a label that it's not good. Guess what it becomes? Because we've assigned it that judgment. And that's what it becomes for us until we change our minds about it. And that's hard to do when you're living in a chaotic world. I recognize that. I'm not saying I'm adept at all of these things. I'm learning just as much as you are. And through that reiteration, I'm hoping that, you know, I can create whatever it is I need to create in my own world and not stay and remain in the negative energies. Some things don't affect us because we didn't believe that they would affect us. I love that. And sometimes we're oblivious to the effect that we have on others. They say at a life review that we will feel all the feelings we had around something, and then we'll feel what the other person felt around it as well. And that's when we know, oh, it didn't affect me at the time, but look how it affected this person. And we need to forgive ourselves for the damage we've done to some other people that we may not have even been aware of in this lifetime. And so we have to hope that, we're going to have the clarity and the insight that comes when that day comes for us. And we decide what we want to do when we reach the other side. Beliefs can be changed at any time. When they are, our reality does change. How to uncover and solve unwanted belief constructs? When we're all talking about beliefs, we aren't talking about what you think you want, but what you really believe you want. This is how you change it. You can't be saying, well, I think I want this. I think I want that. I know I am that. And sometimes we make things that don't turn out so well for us, but they were lessons. They were things we had to choose in order to learn what we needed to learn in this lifetime. And how we determine the way this affects us is by the idea of changing it from a negative into a positive experience. Um, it is much, much easier for us to find out what someone else is believing by observing their experience when having someone tell you what they believe. And sometimes what they believe are things that are anathema to us. If you were to sit and talk with a MAGA person, for instance, you would say, that is not my belief. I can't even understand why you have that belief. Lots and lots of discernment necessary in order to find the way forward for you. Use the belief techniques in the awareness that what you truly believe is quite obviously reflected in your daily life, and you don't need to even search for it. What you believe is how you live. Do not live against anything that you believe, because you're creating a world you don't want. But we can notice how people believe. We can see in their daily actions how they are in the world and what they believe is important to them. It's very, very important. So there are questions to uncover our beliefs if we're still having a problem trying to do that. The first front is, what would someone that is experiencing this belief have to believe? And write it down. Number two is, what would someone who is doing this have to believe? So it's not just believing or thinking about it, but in doing it. Number three, what would someone who is feeling this have to believe? What are the thoughts that I have about this issue? And why am I trying to be right about? Or what is it that I'm trying to be right about? What am I making others wrong about? A lot of that is with judgments. We grew up in a world of judgment. We even judge, oh, I don't like that music. I don't like that song. I don't like that ice cream. Everything's a judgment. Why does it have to be a judgment? Why can't it just be what it is? I'm glad you like that ice cream. I love chocolate ice cream. You can move this into a more positive for yourself. So, listing your beliefs and writing is a very important component. And as a writing teacher, I know this for sure, and as a journal keeper for years, because engaging the brain by using a pen or pencil, bringing it down into your arm and writing it on a piece of paper is very powerful. You're engaging it and you're making it manifest by writing words down and making them available to your vision. Always a great idea. And who cares what the writing looks like? You can have pen scratch as long as you can read it and understand it. Then you've got it. There's no one else that needs to see what your goals and desires are or your beliefs are. You are the one working on this. No one else. No one else. And really try to keep it a bit tight-lipped until it manifests itself for you and you can see it in reality. Because sometimes speaking of things dissipates the energy. This is just a very important thing to remember. What is the payoff for believing in this idea? What is the benefit I get? And how does this belief serve my life and me? What can I be right about if I continue to create this for myself? A lot of people have talked about the way they got started and how they had no idea. And one day they had this epiphany or this experience. Many of the others of us have been plodding along year after year, life after life, and we have not understood that all of this background was in preparation for when we made the decision we were going to move forward with the ideas we had and the beliefs that we had to make a reality out of it. Some of us didn't know where we were going to go when we opened a channel, for instance. And although I've never had a problem public speaking, because I'm a professor and it just doesn't bother me at all, there are a lot of people who this is anathema to them. And yet, this is what their vision created. This is what their belief system wanted, or in their next step showed them that they needed to do in order to create the world they wanted to see. And they did. and they took one step at a time towards that goal. And some people never will go public, and that's okay too. Because as people who sit behind the scenes, we are just as powerful and you are just as needed as anyone else is. Everywhere. Light working, empaths, compassionate people, people who care, people who show their understanding and assistance in the chats or on the streets, wherever it is, wherever it is. It just, there's not one hierarchy any better than any other hierarchy in this system. And never let anyone tell you that. Never let anyone say, you need to follow me because, or you need to believe what I say because. You don't have to believe anything that anyone says, ever. You are the determinant of your beliefs, no one else. Focus on a thought that creates a new belief. Your emotions will then activate the thought, perhaps joy, perhaps excitement, maybe a little trepidation in there, but pushing it aside, make it a positive. Feel joy and enthusiasm, gratitude, excitement, and allow whatever emotion to come up around the thinking that you have. This is a powerful way for you to understand manifestation, that it has to move from one thing to another. And so it moves from a thought or a belief into an emotion, and that moves into action, and that flows through you and has you moving down that current of the river. Notice an unwanted condition that you have and ask yourself, how does this serve me in this lifetime? And you're going to get a lot of negatives at first. Well, it doesn't serve me. For heaven's sake, why do I have to be sick all the time? Why am I stuck here? Why am I not well? Why I don't feel good? What every few steps I take, why do I have to go backwards? Instead, how does this serve me? It allows me the time and the luxury to think about it, to think about where they are and how they're working and how this all works. See it only as a blessing and their opportunities to grow. Any belief that can be beneficial or not is something that we have to observe in ourselves. Chosen beliefs come in divine right timing. So you can be open to receiving it any time, but spirit is the one that brings in that divine right timing. Skepticism can be a blessing or a curse. Without it, we would not question our beliefs and we wouldn't progress. But we must release it if we want reality creation. We can't be skeptical that that this is not going to happen or that this can even happen. We can't in reality creation. It's the one place we have to step aside and say, okay, I'm going to give this over to you, spirit, God, universe, angels, our ancestors, guides. I'm going to let you work with me and through me. Consciousness is holistic, which is a core belief manifests in more than one area of your life. It isn't just one area where you've come up with your beliefs or thoughts. What influences large paths of your life is your core, one of your core beliefs. So if you believe you should be of service to somebody, you're going to show that in all aspects, more than one aspect of your life. You either work in service, you work with people who work in service, or you allow service to work through you. And all the other things that you can think about are all there for you. You can just take your own core beliefs and look at the way your life has shown them and how you believe in, why you believe in them. The things you're stuck in are based on core beliefs also. And a major defining trait is that it manifests in more than one area, and you must take a look at that. Don't be afraid to look at anything. We think some things are so dark and so hurtful that we can't look at them because they'll bring us more pain. But this is the way we move through the pain and into the healing This is the way we see who we are and what we are, and how we can make changes to change that very thing. Every problem is a solution for something else. Every problem is a solution for something else. I agree with that. Dodson says, how does your problem serve you exactly? Where is it? A problem is just resistance to a situation. Well, I have a lot of problems. Oh, I'm sorry. What are you resisting? Well, what do you mean? You know, I can't find a job. Why are you resisting taking anything that's possible? Go get a temporary job. Go work for McDonald's. Why are you resisting it? Look at other ways. Look differently at it. That makes sense. It's happened for me, and I know it makes sense. I looked for the signals, and I found the signal, and I asked the question, and I moved into the possibility, and then I got the job. Simple? Probably not a lot of people would think that was simple. But I stuck to it because I needed to have an income. It is your way of looking at it that needs to change. Our viewpoint equals solution. How we look at things equals the solution that we can have, that we can make in the problem. They're not problems, by the way. They're opportunities. They're opportunities. Stop giving the problem any energy. It's a wake-up call to allow the solution to reveal itself. It's the wake-up opportunity for you to say, oh, maybe I was on the wrong trajectory. I need to think about this and do better. I need to figure out a way. Our reality is made up of many chains of definitions. Change a definition and you change your reality. So what is a definition of problem? I'm going to change the definition to opportunity. And how does that change it? It takes a negative and makes it a positive. It makes it a much more positive reality in creation. A label will determine your reality, and it will determine how to get out of a situation and to know there are a million different versions of our reality. There's so many different versions. Imagination can create emotional energy easily. Attention, the more attention placed on an imaginary image, the more importance, solidity, and reality it gains. And I want to thank one of the viewers in one of the earlier tapes who said that their dad had a scrapbook and he would make it a vision board. And the vision board was something he would look at all the time in the scrapbook. And she said when she looked at the scrapbook, everything that he had in there had manifested itself. Why? Because he believed it would. He had a vision, he had an image, and for him, that worked for him in his reality creation. We all are different. Sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a song, sometimes it's listening to the world and how it speaks to us. Our beliefs are created by adding attention, emotion, and a body sense to a mental image. An action has us copy what we see ourselves doing in the imagination into active physical reality that we can quicken our manifestation. There are people that are track stars who imagine on your mark, get set, go, and how they're going to take off and run and win the race. And then they do it. They manifest it. They've seen it here and they've made it real. Maybe not the first time they tried. Maybe not the 20th time they've tried. But eventually they will succeed because they're already there. They're already in that mindset. And that mindset will bring them what they asked for. Be grateful for something before it happens. I am grateful that so many people are watching this video I'm making right now, and that it can possibly help them create the reality that they so much want to manifest in their life through this brilliant book by Dodson, Frederick Dodson. When you resist nothing, there is nothing to escape or distract you from. Belief in our inner dreams soon override the authority of outer consciousness themselves. If we believe it, we can achieve it. We will, we are that. We are that. Imagining parallel lives means understanding imagination in a totally different way. When you practice reality creation, you see the distinction between real and unreal, and you blur it. Something has to be real in a parallel universe in order for it to manifest. It must be real and manifest if we desire something. It's already a reality. It might be yet in a parallel universe of ourself, but it's there. It's part of who we are. It's part of how we do it. Changing the self changes the outside world. Think of the things you can do. How powerful. We're all on the crossover point to many different realities. Truth and fact must also be embraced after we differentiate between true and untrue. Trust in reality creation is the truth of identity, what we feel right now. Self and our imagination are gateways to all the worlds. Wow. I'm going to continue because I have about a page and a half more. And then when I finish reading the book, I'm going to come back and do part 5. So action and reality, creation of what we wanted starts with our belief that it was already true. And our belief is connected to action. Even if we do nothing physically at all, we can still achieve anything we want. Inspired action or action towards desires will create results in life. Act always from joy, never from fear. No effort is needed. Allow things to flow. Most magical view is acting as if. You'll see an actor get up and they'll play a part and they'll act out that part. And they are imagining if they were them, that character, what they would be like. This world is a huge stage. We're all doing this acting every day. And I don't mean we're being false, that we're acting and that we're masking. No, we're trying on different forms of reality manifestation is what we're doing. If you take on being the being of your most desired reality, you come as close as possible to the real thing. This is the most direct path that you can do this. There must be a balance between being and doing. We are human beings, not human doings. And we have to balance. That's why it's so important to self-care. That's why it's so important for you to realize do isn't going to lead you to where you want to be. Do. We must realize that life will continue working just fine without us. And many things in life happen by themselves, automatically. There's an invisible energy that generates most of what's going on in life. And it orchestrates things all the time. Meeting people by serendipity, by synchronicity, or as some more logical minds would say, coincidence. There are no coincidences. We are magically seeking that which is seeking us. Change yourself first. It changes where you are. It's not only about who you are, but where you are. And vitally, it says, what you see, hear, and say is based on your beliefs about how reality works. So get the doubt out, get the judgment out, get the beliefs in. Linear thinking is not the way this works. We are not in linear time. Linear thinking is something else that the creator the creative, and we all have some kind of creativity, I totally believe it, does not think in terms of linear, thinks in terms of doors opening here, shutting over here, going on this path, turning, circuitously through life. Growth or progression only seems to be an appearance to us. But we've been working on this life for a long time. Everything we've done has brought us to where we are right now. So don't look back and say, if only I had. No, you wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't know the things you know right now. You wouldn't be the person that you are right now. And if you don't like who you are right now, you still have the opportunity to change it. And you don't need a near-death experience to tell you that. You just need to know that you can create your own reality. And we do in every day of our lives. Our identity, or masking and unmasking of the self in spiritual enlightenment, resembles the taking off of all masks and identification, because this is who we are. To be authentic is not to be afraid to show your true self, who you really truly are. Some feel uncomfortable with this newness and they believe it isn't really who they are. But once we achieve a reality that is unmasked, we can see who we really are and get a deeper connection with that part of our soul that we've always been working to become. Thank you again. I will be back and ready to speak to you. I've got a little more reading to do. And when I do, I'll flesh that out for you and bring it to you. In the meantime, namaste and have a beautiful day. And thank you for sharing your time with me. Bye-bye.